and Jackie here, and boy, oh boy, we're excited to finally learn about the fact that the AViD Series is up and going again, and they're able to announce who's going to be there.
Yeah, an exciting time right now as we have authors visiting Des Moines, or I should say what exactly AViD stands for. We have Tim Pollock joining us, Community Engagement Supervisor with the Des Moines Public Library. So AViD does stand for Authors
visiting in Des Moines.
Yes. There we go. There's
the little I.
There's the little I in there.
Yeah, right there. Okay.
But that means we get some pretty special people making their way to the Metro.
We do, and especially this year. It's our 20th anniversary. AViD kicked off in 2001. The first author was Bill Bryson, who everybody knows, Iowa author. And it's kind of grown from there. Now we have 6 authors, anyway, 5 to 6 usually, but 6 authors this spring. We kind of have a very exciting lineup. It kind of runs from March 28th all the way to the end of May.
All right, and how do you select the authors?
That's a very complicated question. It starts with a wish list. You know, we talk to community members. We have kind of a selection committee, library staffers, employees, and as well as donors and people who are involved with the series. And we just kind of start putting a list together, and then I make hundreds of phone calls and emails and start matching up schedules and see who's on tour and who can kind of make their way through. But we always have kind of a, let's try to get X. And you know, once we get there, we start filling in the rest of the dates. Even though
we're going into the 20th anniversary of this, which is incredible, what can people experience if they've never been a part of this before?
Oh, absolutely. The great thing about AViD is it's free.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to see these authors in other cities sometimes, you're paying $30, $40, $50, $60 for a ticket. Here, you can walk in, you find a seat, first come, first serve, and you listen to some of our best nonfiction and fiction writers not just talk about their books, but talk about their experiences, their lives. They always have kind of, you know, a really interesting take on what's going on in the world. And then you can ask them questions. We have question and answer sessions. They all line up for, they all sit down for book signings afterwards. You can buy the book, you can bring the book, and you're able to interact one-on-one with some of these great names in the literary world.
And you're so right. They have wonderful viewpoints of all different things in literature and around the world. You are wonderful about bringing in an eclectic group of people that someone's going to find something that they love about each and every one that person that comes in. So let's share.
Let's do it.
Who is coming in for the AViD Series?
The first author, we kick off our series at the DSM Book Festival, which is entering its 2nd year. It's March 28th at Capitol Square. We work with them. They bring in authors, and then we partner with them to bring in one of the headlining authors. And this year, that's Tayari Jones, who wrote An American Marriage. And this was one of the biggest books of 2018. It was sold a lot of books. It was on so many best of lists. President Obama's best books of the year list. She's an amazing speaker and thinker, and this is a fiction book that a lot of people are going to recognize that cover, I think.
I was going to say, just the title alone sounds really familiar. Why was this such a captivating tale when it came out?
You know, it's hard. It's very difficult to predict what's going to do very well. And sometimes it's a lot to do with the publishers pushing out very big books, and then it catches. And this is an example of, I think it's just a great book. You know, it tells a very modern story about the dissolution of a marriage based around one of the people in the marriage going to jail. There's a lot of talk of, you know, racial injustice in the criminal justice system, and it really explores what happens when that event takes place. And it's written in such an interesting way with a lot of letters back and forth between the husband and wife. It's just a great read. I would definitely recommend picking that one up if you haven't before the festival.
So kicking things off with a bang. What's next?
Who's next?
April 9th at the Central Library downtown is an author by the name of Hanif Abdurraqib. He's a young writer from Columbus, Ohio. He is not only an author, he's a poet, essayist, cultural critic, well known in the music writing world. And this is his book last year, which was nominated for so many awards. It's about, kind of tells the story of the seminal 90s rap band, A Tribe Called Quest. And he explores his love with that group as well as talking about kind of the history of hip hop and how it kind of changed the culture and how certain populations have just this really close connection with it. And he's just a brilliant writer. So he was recently called one of the greatest writers of our generation. He's a name that I think people are going to learn a lot more about in the coming years.
And coming to Des Moines.
Coming to Des Moines.
Absolutely free. Go hang out with this guy. And I love that you're bringing a poet as well. Who's next?
Oh, next would be Kate Quinn.
All right, there you go.
April 23rd at the Central Library. Historical fiction author, very popular with book clubs. Her first book was called The Alice Network in 2017, and that was a massive bestseller. It was one of the first Reese Witherspoon book club picks, and it's kind of tells the story of kind of spies around World War II.
Okay.
And this follow-up, The Huntress, which came out last year and also was an instant bestseller, is kind of along those same lines. It's about a group of, I guess, secret agents, spies trying to hunt for this Nazi called The Huntress. And it's just kind of a gripping thriller type book, fast read, very, very interesting, and she's very popular. That was actually the Alice Network was the third most popular book at the Des Moines Public Library last year.
Wow.
So
impressive. All right, so that'll be happening on April 23rd.
So you should be excited that
April
she's
23rd,
coming to
yes.
town. And we have a couple more to talk about.
We do. I'll go through them quickly. This is a very interesting book called Midnight in Chernobyl.
Okay, well,
Nonfiction book, came out last year about the nuclear explosion in the Ukraine power plant back in 1986. Not only a very gripping tale of the tape of what happened that day, but also afterwards the cover-up, how the Soviet government really tried to keep things under wraps, and that ended up harming so many more people.
Right.
And it's a very well-researched book. He's a British author, and this book got him nominated for he's a finalist for the Andrew Carnegie Medal for Excellence in 2019. So
that'll be May 6th.
that'll be May 6th.
Right.
Yep.
You're bringing in the best of the best.
May
I'm telling
14th,
ya.
another popular author. His new book actually comes out May 5th, so just before the event. Brad Meltzer. He's a historian, fiction writer, children's book writer, and this is an interesting book I just actually finished last week. It tells this unknown secret plot in the true story to kill George Washington. Unsuccessful, obviously, but it's just a great, gripping tale, historical nonfiction, a story that people, I don't think anyone really knew about that.
First conspiracy.
Yeah.
I want to meet an author that writes children's books and then also
He does it all. He also-
historical
yeah.
nonfiction.
He also
I want to meet this guy.
He also hosts TV shows on the History Channel. He's had two. One called Decoded is very popular. So he'll be here to talk about his new book, which is called The Lincoln Conspiracy. We know, obviously, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, but what we didn't know, according to this book that hasn't come out yet, is there was an earlier plot to kill him as well on a train that was unsuccessful, and that's going to tell that story.
All right.
And we have one more.
Close it up with just an absolute literary superstar, Jacqueline Woodson.
Okay.
She has won just about every award a writer can win. She started, children's books, teen books, YA books. She was the Young Person's Poet Laureate. The Library of Congress named her the National Young Person's Literary, designee for 2 years. And this is her adult book called Red at the Bone, which was an instant bestseller last year on many best of lists. And she's a big name in the literary world. In fact, big enough that we cannot have her at the Central Library.
I was going to say, you had a different location this time, right?
Yes, we are going to be at Cheslow Auditorium on the Drake University campus. Again, all free. There's free parking, and this is a big one for us. So I expect a lot of people to show up. Her books are taught in schools. I mean, she's a superstar.
This is big.
That's
well,
awesome.
I think all of these authors sound absolutely incredible. And if you've noticed on some of them that we've held up, these books are also all available at your local library. So if you want to start reading now, so you have an opportunity.
Yes, get your holds in. We have extra copies coming in.
You do, because I imagine these are going to become very popular
Yes, they are
books.
very popular every year.
So make sure you get your library card, check out these books, read up, and then meet some of the biggest names in the business, all courtesy of the AViD Series and our Des Moines Public Library.
Excellent.
If people want to learn more, make sure they get these dates down in their calendar. Where's the best place to go?
Go to dmpl.org/AViD.
Okay, and listed all there so you can get those dates in and find out how you can be a part of this absolutely free event going into its 20th season. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Congratulations on 20.
Yes.
Great.
All right.